On today's episode, we've got some engine bay cleaning, some alloy wheel refurbishment, a rather disgusting beige interior to clean, and we've also got some caliper painting coming. Hi and welcome back to the channel. So today's vehicle is a Volkswagen EOS. This vehicle's 12 years old, it's covered 66,000 miles, and it's a 2-litre diesel DSG. One of the major jobs we're going to do today is refurbish the alloy wheels. This vehicle's already had this done before at some point in its lifetime, because these wheels originally would have had a polished face and somebody's resprayed them silver, and due to time and age and somebody curbing the alloy wheels, it started to flake the paint off again. So inside the car we've got a number of issues to tackle. So it's got a bit of mould in there, we've got the usual grime, and we've also got dog hair and dust. Because obviously if you own a beige interior vehicle, the ideal situation is to throw a muddy dog in the back seat. So first off, I'm going to start here in the engine bay. What I'm going to do is cover the whole surface area with all-purpose cleaner, and then I'm going to use a little interior brush which is dedicated for this job, and I'm going to go around, scrub all the surface area, and then I'm just going to use the jet wash on a very low pressure just to rinse off the all-purpose cleaner and all the dirt and grime behind it. With the engine bay thoroughly cleaned, I can now look to wash these rather tired and tatty alloy wheels. So all I've done here is used all-purpose cleaner again. I'm using a series of different brushes just to get in between and around the spokes. With the alloy wheel thoroughly cleaned, we can see the extent of the curbing and road rash, and also the flaky paint. Another thing we're going to do is replace the badge because it's starting to show its age, and the little black caps that go over the wheel nuts are starting to look weathered as well, so we'll do something with those later on. So with the roof down for easy access, I can now go around the inside with a small brush and just agitate the dust and grime from all the little areas like the air vents here. I'm also going to use some spray foam cleaner. This is a little bit safer around electrical and switch equipment, but it's still going to loosen the dirt off and help me clean the car. So with the interior thoroughly vacuum cleaned, we can now look to start to scrub the inside. So I'm using small purpose cleaner, either sprayed directly onto the surface of the plastic, or sometimes if it's a little bit more of an intricate area or near electrical equipment, I'll just spray a little bit onto the brush and then agitate it. Once that process has been done, I'll use a damp microfiber, which I'll rinse out quite regularly in a bucket of warm water, and I'll just use it to rub over the surface, remove any of the dust and the APC at the same time. So a good point of reference here is that most modern seats, if they have leather interior, a real leather interior that is, the centre section is going to probably be leather, but the outside panels or the backs of the seats etc. are going to be in vinyl, so it's going to be a combination of both. So if you're cleaning a leather seat, always try a little test spot area to make sure you're not going to use an all-purpose cleaner that's too strong that could damage it. So with the tape removed, this is a great visual representation of how much we've improved the seat and how disgustingly grubby it was to start with. So this little section's been taped off so I can use it later on for my YouTube thumbnail. So it's just personal preference really, but I think sometimes if you've got a light coloured beige interior or sometimes tan or light grey, if it's really clean and come up to a good standard, there's no need to put any sort of shiny stuff on there. So in this instance, I've only dressed the black areas of the dashboard and this rear section where the hood goes onto, because I think it just looks more natural and nice as it is. So inside the engine bay, it's got like a felt liner on the underside of the bonnet, and this had rubbed a little bit around this plastic cowling and it had just marked it. So I've just used a little magic eraser just to give it a little bit more of a scrub there and remove that sort of dirty tide line and improve it. So I'm using the same dressing as I've just used inside of the car as well, which is Aerospace 303. It's going to leave a nice satin finish and give the plastic a bit of protection from UV, although you're not going to get much in the engine bay, but on a convertible on the inside you probably are. Also, this is a tricky little area here. When the bonnet's closed, it sort of covers up this top bit of chrome trim and water drips down and it leaves quite a nasty sort of tide mark of limescale over a period of time. So before I close the bonnet, I'm going to do that little section first, just so it's something I don't forget later on. So if you've ever looked in the boot of your Volkswagen and thought, what's that for? I shall show you. So these little plastic nut covers that are a real nightmare to get off, you just literally stick it through the middle, hook it round, and they pop straight off. So one of the things I like to do for my customers is, while the wheel's off, just to tidy up the brake caliper a little bit. It's not the best job you can do, it's literally a tidy up, but it's going to improve it so that when the alloy wheel goes back on refurbished, you haven't got this lovely nice painted alloy wheel and this rusty old brake caliper behind it. How long does this last? It's not too bad. I did it on my own vehicle and I've had a good 18 months out of it, so it's well worth, for a small bit of time and effort, it makes a big improvement. And likewise with these little plastic covers that go over the wheel nuts, we can see they've gone a bit white, probably due to very strong wheel cleaner or acid-based wheel cleaner that's bleached them. So what I'm going to do is just use some satin black paint and just dust over them, and it's going to recolour them again so that when they're refitted they look really nice. So it's time to tackle the rather tired alloy wheels. So due to the fact that these have been refurbished before and the paint's failing and it's flaking off, What I'm going to do is use the DA just to go over the centre of the spokes first of all and remove all that paint off and go back down to the bare metal so I know I've got a good surface to start with. I've then switched to this smaller DA and I'm going to go around the edge of the wheel, remove the curbing and also the flaky paint between the spokes. For more tricky areas like around this tyre valve for example, I'll just use a conventional bit of sandpaper and also a Scotch-Brite pad as well because they're quite good to get into the hard areas as well. Then I'll use a solvent degreaser to remove any dust, debris or silicone from the surface prior to paintwork, and then we can look to masking up the outer wheel prior to paint. So this repair is what we would class as a smart repair in the motor trade. It's not perfect. The best job in the world would be to take the tyre off, acid dip it and completely start again, but it's quite a costly process and sometimes the motor traders just want to compromise. It's in between doing nothing or having the full works done, so today this is just an attempt to tidy up and improve what was already there, which was pretty bad. So first off we're going to use some etch primer to seal the bare metal and give the base coat, which is silver, something to stick to. Once that's dried, which takes about 20 minutes, we're then going to put the base coat on and that will look matte. And then what we do is we then have to put the clear coat over the top, which is lacquer, and that's what gives the wheel the nice shiny appearance we're looking for. So I do quite a lot of Volkswagens, so I'm just going to be honest, I've got a spare set of alloy wheels lying around. So for my ease, what I've done is I just fitted them in the meantime so I can put the car back down on the ground and carry on working on it whilst the other ones are drying off. So I'm just going over with the clay bar here just to remove any bonded contaminants on the paintwork prior to machine polishing it. I think one of the good things with YouTube and doing these videos is it's sort of forced me to try different products out, and at the moment I've probably got about 3 or 4 different compounds I'm just trying out on different vehicles as they come through, and I'm hoping maybe in the near future I can give you my honest opinion of what works best. At the moment I've been using Kosh Chemie, I think it's 1 Cut. The idea is it's paint, sealant and compound all in one, and I've had good results with it so far. This was a new product to me today as well. It was a Chemical Guys paint sealant. I found it really easy to put on and take off, and it did give an improved level of gloss, so it's something I want to use more on different vehicles and different colours to sort of give an honest opinion on it, but first impressions, I was pleasantly surprised with it. So one of the big bonuses of having 2 sets of wheels is that it's allowed me to paint the wheels on day number 1, and then on the second day they're fully cured, and it makes it much easier to refit into the vehicle and get it outside quite quickly. While the car's up in the air, it's also easier to put the tyre dressing on it because you won't miss the bottom bit because you've got full access. I'm then going to refit a brand new centre cap badge. I get these off eBay, I'm just going to be honest. I think they're around about £8 or £9 for a set of 4, so it's well worth it. Once the car's lowered on the ground, I'm then going to use a torque wrench to go around and adjust the wheel nuts to the correct manufacturer's settings. So with the impact gun, I just have it on a very low setting. It's just to really bolt the wheels on, and then I always go around and check the correct settings afterwards. Once that's complete, I'll then pop the black covers on, which we painted earlier, and it really finishes it all off. So with all this done, we can now take the car back outside 2 days later and just show a little bit of a before and after to sort of highlight what we've changed and how we've improved the look of this car. So it's important to remember this is only a smart repair, so it's just an improvement, but it's a monumental improvement than what was there to start with all the flaky paint and curbing. And likewise with the inside of the car. The motor traders only want to spend a small amount of money, so I suppose this entire job was no more than £300, that's including the wheels, so we're on a limited budget of what we can do to the vehicle in a time span. Likewise, the interior is not perfect. There's a slight discoloration on the driver's side seat bolster on the inside, and the base of the passenger front seat had some staining as well that just wouldn't come out. It's one of those things, if you wanted to improve that, you'd have to have the seat recoloured. Ironically, where the dog had been jumping around the back of the car, the rear seats came up nearly perfect, as you'll see in the aftershots. I've also kept this video a little bit shorter this week and a bit more fast paced. I didn't think there was enough content there to really drag it to 35 minutes for the sake of it. I don't want to waste your time basically. So you'll be pleased to know I've got plenty of other content pre-filmed and there'll be lots of more videos coming soon. Thanks for always tuning in, and if you haven't subscribed, maybe think about doing so, I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot and I'll see you soon.